Hey, what's up everybody? It's Casey here at Zero on Fly and Tackle, and we're talking pink salmon jigs today. We're going to do the John Doe pink salmon float fishing jig. Alright, for this pink jig, we're going to take a Compleat Angler painted jig head, 1/8 in color bubblegum. And to that, I'm just going to take my tying thread, UTC 140 in fluorescent pink. Use whatever you like, something that's, a close shade, something that's going to match or, blend in with the materials. And we'll lay down a little bit of a thread base to just about where the hook point is, if not right in line. Yeah, we're pretty much there. First material that I'm going to tie in is going to be the Alchemists tying range. This is called Fluorographic Straggle in silver. And this is just going to add some sparkle, some glitter. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera there. To this pattern to help grab those fish's attention. Tie that in by the core. I like to use a fairly heavy thread, like a 140 denier for these jigs, so I could really tie down the material with some good tension. I give it about 5 wraps of this for the rear portion of the jig. Couple extra wraps just to lock everything down. There's potentially millions upon millions of these things swimming by, so we want to have a nice durable jig that's going to last for a few fish so that we don't have to replace it all the time. The next material that I'm going to tie in is going to be some Hareline UV Polar Chenille in fluorescent fuchsia. This is a pretty commonly used material in our jigs at the shop here. We're all pretty big fans of this stuff. It catches fish. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just a really, really, really good material for a lot of different applications. Just like we did with that fluorographic straggle, we're going to wind this forward. And we're going to tie that off with like a 3/16 of an inch gap just in behind the jig head there. So now that I've got that in, let's get a little bit of wiggle factor in there. Let's take some Wapsi Sili legs in cotton candy flake. And I'm just going to flank 3 down the one side and 3 down the other. If something moves around and one ends up on top or whatever, it's not going to matter. It's just going to give this a little bit of wiggle and help entice a bite. Now for the collar, that's going to cover up that ugliness. We're going to take some OfishL Strung Schlappen in fluorescent pink. I'm going to strip off the short fluffy stuff once the stem starts to get thick again, but we're going to tie this all in. I'm not necessarily going to start it right at the tip because I want a little bit of length right off the hop here. And wraps with nice tension to fix everything in so that it all sits in place. And we're going to wrap this collar. And I find that if you just kind of stroke this back as you go, it helps everything kind of stay in line. Sometimes you need to manipulate it a little bit, you know, a bodkin or whatever can help. I'm just going to use my scissors in this instance. Don't open your scissors though, because if you cut the stem, that really sucks. Ask me how I know. Take a couple extra seconds just to manipulate that material so that everything's going the way that we want it. And we're going to get down to that fluffy stuff at the base of the feather here. And again, that's just going to give us more movement. Again, more thread wraps with good tension on that thread. And we're going to try and trim as much of that stem flush as we can. Not that the fish are going to care, but if we're going to do it, we might as well make it look good. I take my whip finish. I'm going to whip my thread. Do it once. And for the second one, I'm just going to put a little bit of crazy glue on the thread. Tie it over. And then quickly whip it one more time so that it all glues in one go. We'll trim our rubber legs so that they dangle back a little bit. And if you want, you could add a little bit of bait on here. You know, like a krill bag would be an excellent choice, or a piece of prawn if you want to throw a little bit of bait at them. But there you have a nice, quick, very effective little pink salmon jig. You can play with your weights. I mean, this is tied on 1/8. If you've got a little bit heavier setup, you can use a 1/4 ounce. I wouldn't go too much bigger myself personally for a float fishing jig for these things. You really don't need to. And the nice thing about these fish is that you can use lighter gear to target them and just make it a whole heck of a lot more fun. So great jig to have for these millions upon millions of pinks that are swimming by. If you want to give it a try, I'll have all the links for the materials in the description below. Follow along, tie her up, come by the shop. We can talk about jigs, talk about jig fishing tactics, and all the fun ways that we can catch pink salmon. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you for the next one.